We are continuing on with classification of plants. How a plant germinates, grows, and reproduces is its life cycle. A cherry tree makes seeds in its flowers. Inside the flowers, male parts make pollen and female parts make eggs. Bees visit the flowers and carry pollen from flower to flower. Pollination. Can you say pollination? Say pollination. Good. Pollination occurs when pollen and an egg meet to form a seed. Cherries are the fruit that forms around these seeds. After ripening, the fruit may fall onto the ground and break open, releasing a seed. Sometimes an animal eats the fruit and deposits the seeds in its droppings. When conditions are right and the seed can germinate, a new cherry tree will grow. And this is the life cycle of a cherry tree. A cherry seed germinates in the soil. A young cherry tree grows. Bees carry pollen to eggs in the adult tree. Seeds form. Fruit forms around the seeds. Ripe fruit falls and releases seeds. Oops, sorry. Reproducing with cones. A pine tree's life cycle is similar to a flowering plant's, but pine trees don't have flowers. Instead, they form seeds inside cones. Pollination takes place when the wind blows pollen from male cones into female cones. Seeds develop in the female cones. When the seeds are ready, the cone opens and the wind blows the seeds to new places. Plants that produce cones from reproduction are called conifers. That's a good vocabulary word. Say conifers. Good. Conifers have needle-shaped leaves. Most conifers keep their needles year-round. Those plants are often called evergreens. However, not all conifers are evergreens. For example, the western larch's needles turn yellow and drop off during autumn. Life cycle of the pine tree. Okay, right here. A pine seed germinates in the soil. A young pine tree grows. An adult tree makes male and female cones. Wind blows pollen from the male cones into the female cones. Seeds develop inside the female cone. When the cone is ripe, seeds fall out, and then we're back to a new pine seed. Did you know? Lodgepole pine cones stay closed until the great heat of a forest fire pops them open. Their seeds have space to grow in the open land the fire left behind. So some seeds will not fall out unless there has been a fire to release them. From seed to plant. If you have eaten peas, corn, or nuts, you have eaten seeds. Inside each seed is an embryo, a young plant ready to start growing. Also inside the seed is food for the embryo to use as it grows. The outside of the seed is tough to protect the embryo. So here are the parts of a seed. We have the seed covering. Think of a peanut. And there's that part that's on the outside. Inside they have stored food. So that would actually be the peanut itself. And then an embryo, which is that little thing right there at the end. When conditions are right, a seed will germinate. To germinate means to start growing. And germinate, I think we've probably talked about. But if we haven't, it just means to start growing. Say the word germinate, because that's a good vocabulary word. It waits until the temperature is right and the soil is wet enough. Some seeds wait for months or years before germinating. A germinating embryo soaks up the water until it swells, then bursts through the seed's outer covering. Over time, the seed grows to be a mature plant. Okay, this is kind of hard to see, but right down here it says the seed sprouts. The seedling has a the seedling has a stem, roots, and leaves. A flower forms. The adult makes new seeds. So this is the life cycle of a dandelion right here. Reproducing without seeds. Some plants reproduce without making seeds. For example, ferns reproduce by making spores. Spores are like seeds in some ways. They fall on the ground or blow in the wind. They can become a new fern plant. Unlike a seed, a spore does not have food for its embryo. New plants can grow from parts of plants. The part of a potato plant that we eat is a tuber. A tuber is a large underground stem. We call the small white buds on potatoes eyes. New stems and leaves can grow from these buds. Other plants, such as onions, can grow from an underground stem called a bulb. A new basil plant can grow from a stem or a leaf that is placed in water. So if you look at this, it says new stems and leaves can be grown from potato eyes. Have you ever taken a potato out for your mom and it has these little white things shooting out of it? If it was left to grow, this is what it would look like. Life cycle of a fern. Alright. A spore grows into a small organism with male and female parts. A young fern grows when cells from the male and female parts join. Adult ferns grow and release spores. And then it starts all over again. All right. Continue on with the Nearpod. Enjoy.